So for the longest time on my fitness journey, I spent a lot of time looking for hacks or shortcuts, which I thought would get me into shape and really build up my physique to get to where I wanted it to be a lot faster. And so a lot of this would consist of just doing drop sets all the time, or doing supersets all the time, or just doing half reps. So for example, when I hit failure, I was just trying to push in the weight a little bit and just trying to see if I could just do another couple half reps or quarter reps. And I thought that doing all this extra work or just doing like push-ups at the end of my push day, for example, I thought that all of this would actually get me more results because I was working harder. Whereas the more you actually look into it and the more you think about it, it actually isn't the case at all. And the reason why I spent so much time worrying about new ways to build muscle, all these different hacks and everything, a lot of it's just from the fitness industry online and a lot of fitness influencers who just promote this and push it about to try and sell you a program which doesn't really work or which isn't going to relate to you if you're not on steroids, because a lot of these influencers are on steroids, or it's just really to upsell you and to sell you something that they're selling, or just really to make content. So in this video, I'm going to go over why this doesn't actually work. So a quick reason why doing drop sets, supersets, half reps, and all these other hacks that people talk about in the gym, like assisted reps and everything, a lot of the reason why it doesn't work is because you can't actually mechanically load the muscle anymore when you're dropping the weight so much and when you're just ripping out all these new hacks and everything. And a huge reason for this is because muscle only grows when you give it a reason to. And the way that you give it a reason to grow is just by increasing the stress which you apply to the muscle. And so the best way to do this is through progressive overload, where you either slowly increase the weight over time that you're lifting, or you slowly increase the amount of reps that you're doing on that same weight. And so if you're just doing a set and doing it until you go close to failure, and then dropping it massively and dropping down the weight, and then you keep repping it out on this lower weight and doing a drop set, all you're really doing is you're just kind of creating a lot of swelling and blood flow into the muscle, which isn't actually going to correlate into any more muscle growth. This is the same for these half reps, and it's the same for supersets. Because you're so fatigued, the way that you're going to lift is going to be so much lower, and you're only going to get a certain amount of reps in when you're doing this. And so you're actually not going to be able to create any more stress on the muscle, and your ability to actually mechanically load that muscle anymore really isn't going to help you. And so therefore it's kind of just inducing a lot of fatigue into your workout, and it's actually just slowing you down, because then your next sets you're going to be more tired, you're going to be more fatigued, and you're not going to be able to lift as much. So now that we've talked about why this doesn't work and why this isn't going to get you any more gains, I'll tell you exactly what does. And there's 4 key pillars to muscle growth, which is really important. And it's just about nailing these basics over a long period of time, which is going to give you that physique. And when you keep chopping and changing everything, looking for shortcuts, this is when you really start to trip up and you start going backwards on your progress. And overall, in the long run, you're just not going to make anywhere near as much results as the person who just sticks to these basics over a long period of time. So these 4 are consistency. So sticking to a routine you can stick to, say for me, it's 3 days per week, it could be 2 days per week or 4 days per week. And just a routine that you enjoy, that you can stick to over a long period of time. The next one is progressive overload. So just increasing the amount of weight or the amount of reps you're doing each time you go to the gym. This is the stimulus for growth because you're increasing the stress on the muscles, so you're giving them a reason to signal them to actually come back and to grow back stronger. And the next one is just eating at maintenance or on a slight surplus. So getting enough calories, getting enough protein in to actually support that growth mechanism and to support muscle growth. So if you want to get enough calories for maximum muscle growth, I recommend eating at a slight surplus of 100 to 200 calories above your maintenance. And then the last one is just proper recovery. This is why I don't train 5 or 6 days per week, because all you're really doing is you're creating recovery debt, and your muscles, your joints, your tendons, and your central nervous system doesn't have enough time to actually fully recover from all the stress and to come back stronger. Because you don't want to just constantly hit your nervous system with stimulus. You want to actually be in a state of rest and recover instead of constant cortisol and constantly in fight or flight. So if you can manage that and make sure that your sleep is on target, you're lowering your cortisol levels, you're going walking, and overall you're just ensuring that you're not overtraining so you can actually recover from the volume that you're doing, and you link this in together with everything else I mentioned, then you're gonna build a really fantastic physique over a long period of time. So instead of looking for hacks, looking for cheat ways to kind of give you progress, all you're actually really doing is working against yourself. You're making it so much less enjoyable for you. You're going to be less consistent. And overall, you're probably just going to keep burning out, which is exactly what happened to me when I started looking for all these different ways to build muscle. So I hope this helps you guys, and hopefully this is going to give you some insight into what you actually need to do to build muscle, and just to help you stop overthinking things and to stop wasting your time. And if you want my one-on-one help, that's going to be the first link in the description below.